You're listening to the Heroes Power Hour presented by BlizzPro.com. Your hosts, Balrog fan Zexorus and DJ Tyrant. Welcome everyone to episode 82 of the Heroes Power Hour. I'm your host DJ Tyrant, here for your Heroes of the Storm podcast, brought to you by BlizzPro.com. We have a really great episode this week. Blizzard dropped the big patch this week for Heroes of the Storm, bringing Varian, new Brawl, and various other fixes to the game, and we're all very excited to talk about this. But first, let me introduce the crew here. Balrog fan BP, how are you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. Due to Willie's mind-numbing challenge of playing a bunch of heroes, I actually got 4 new heroes to level 10, and I got my sweet portrait for getting Tychus, Raynor, and Kerrigan all to level 10. So, been playing a lot this week.
Yeah, I think we all have been playing a bit more than we have been in the past, and that's just telling of how good of a spot Heroes is right now. Zex, we're going to go to you, or continue.
Oh, we all have hats.
Yes, we all have hats. It's hat week here on the Power Hour.
If you just listen to the podcast, tune in, and you could all see us wear hats.
Yeah, as always, you can also check out the VOD, youtube.com/BlizzPro. But we're going to go to Zex. You've been playing a crap ton of heroes.
Yeah, I have. Some of it's been good, and some of it's been really, really bad. I think I hit a 6-game skid on when I was playing Diablo, because I kind of went out of order on the challenge. And then I hit an even bigger skid on Kerrigan, and that was something awful. I am learning Quick Cast. I think with Quick Cast, my Kerrigan's vastly improved. I'm actually reliably hitting combos now when I need to. But today's just been Volrath. Yeah, he's so... Wait, did I say that wrong? I said that wrong, didn't I?
Yeah, his name's Varian.
Okay. Anyways, he's fun. Tank Varian is just absolutely amazing. So that's pretty much been my Heroes week in a nutshell. It's just agonizing.
Tank that you can go divey face in.
Oh God, yes.
That's the perfect tank for Zex over there. Just perfect.
Oh my God. No, it's worse. We ran against. I was playing with Kuma and Digi earlier. No, it was just me and Kuma, and we ran against an all auto attack comp and a Nova. Mm-hmm. And I've never had so much fun in my life.
Wow.
It's
good to know.
Just shredded them like it was ugly. I think we were up by 4 levels at one point. And this was like mid-late game. Like, it was just idiotic how much damage that guy can soak, and it just his kit in a nutshell. He's not overly broken like Samuro was. Yeah, you can deal with Varian, but not to the point of, oh God, you first ban everything. Ban him in quick match.
He seems like the kind of hero that's well versed for dealing with auto attackers. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that in the patch notes that we're going to go over. I want to get Artifice's week in gaming. How you're doing?
I'm recovering from unpacking from BlizzCon all my goodies. I'm still working on hanging them so I don't put holes in the wall. It was good. I didn't get too much beyond our gaming night. It's just been crazy between work and getting back into actual East Coast time. It takes me a few days. I had fun with what a Gazlo fun for me this week. Did the new Brawl. I like the Temple Brawl because I feel like it's a specialist Brawl where you can just hold all the things. I enjoy that very much. I'm still hoping for a 5 Abathur one, but I'm probably going to be holding my breath a long time for that.
Yeah, because Blizzard has explicitly made it so it's not possible right now.
Yeah. I did. I'll show that later. The print that actually, I'm going to get it now. I'll show it off now.
Alrighty.
Reasons, you know why?
Yeah, Elena got a really cool print.
Yeah, who wasn't at BlizzCon this year? This was the Heroes of the Storm print that they had. It's really awesome. I got it signed by the guy who made it, actually. I love it because it has Thrall. That's my big feature for it. But they do have them. People are selling them for a couple bucks, and it's a really cool print. You can find frames for it. It's just really hard to.
It's a lot better than that huge one I got when I went last year of it was celebrating the Diablo event. And that one was cool, but it was too big.
Yeah, like that was my feeling on a bunch of the other ones. The posters that they had, they were cool, but they were all single character ones, like the Necromancer and Sombra. Like, if I think these games, I think more than one character. Like, they're neat, they're really awesome designs, but in a poster I want something other than just one character.
Yeah, most definitely. Carl, how about you? I mean, besides getting MVP every single game that we played last night.
Stop triggering Willie.
I did get MVP 5 times in a row last night in our games, which was a fun time. I don't know, I've been playing more Quick Match than is good for my health this week because I've been partying with Willie. And I hate Quick Match a lot.
How much Quick Match is good for your health?
None of it.
None, yeah, 0.
But there's like a tolerable level where it's like, okay, I can play some Quick Match this week, and I hit it like Sunday afternoon. But aside from that, I'm still stuck in Diamond 2. I want to get advanced, but I haven't made it to D1 yet. So
Carl actually asked me, "How do you do this?" at one point, and I'm like, "I stopped caring, killed my emotions. It didn't really help, but it helps dull the pain a little bit."
I think I started you down that road when you used to queue Hero League with me.
Oh God, that was like Quick Match in Hero League. Jeez.
I still don't even know how we survived some of those.
I just want to take a moment to appreciate that Carl is both wearing a Cloud9 jersey and an Ash Ketchum hat. So
he's the.
He didn't want to feel left out.
Yeah.
Of this year, Cloud9 and
that's true.
Pokemon.
Pretty much.
He's celebrating 2 dead things. Cloud9 Go.
Oh, womp womp. With that, we're going to start talking about this patch this week, though, because there's been a whole lot of new stuff brought into the Nexus from the PTR that was on the PTR last week. But we have some really cool stuff here. I think for new players, this is actually really cool. There's going to be a lot of new players coming into the game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But players are going to be able to get a free hero playing the tutorial / battleground training that is brand new in this version of Heroes of the Storm. And they get to choose between 3 different heroes, Jaina, Muradin, or Tron. And I'm curious what you guys think would be the best for newer players to be picking up. I'm going to start with you, Charlie.
I think it kind of depends on their style a little bit. I lean towards just flat out saying Muradin, but I'm not as good with skill shot heroes as somebody who might be transitioning over from League and whatnot. Jaina might feel more comfortable with them if they're used to playing long range burst mages that are heavily reliant on their skill shot. I think Muradin's definitely the easiest to pick up and play, but and one of the most effective heroes in the game, which makes him a solid choice for any beginner. But yeah, I'd say between those two, Tron's. Yeah,
Tron's one of those heroes that is like you want to be at least with another person when you're playing Tron, just because the amount of syncing up that she requires is pretty significant, and I think she's one of the harder hero, definitely the hardest of the 3 available free heroes here. Carl, I want to hear your thoughts as a player who's kind of played both League and Heroes.
I mean, I would tend to agree. I don't think Tehran belongs in any sort of beginner package. They should have had like Mal for Lily, or I mean, they could even. I mean, Uther has like a lot of depth to him, but you can play Uther functionally well, right? He doesn't. There's a low skill floor to him, but aside from that, I think, Jaina or Muradin, just, are you a tank player? Or are you a mage player? They're both effective. I think Muradin's better than Jaina, but metas shift. So, if you want to be a tank, play Muradin. If you want to be a damage, those are good choices.
Yeah, most definitely. Willie, what do you think for a newer player kind of wanting to get their feet wet in Heroes? What would be the good choice for them?
Honestly, me with being the tank heavy player, I'm gonna say Muradin. He's got the simplest kit out of everybody. You don't have to worry about which order of abilities do I need to use with Jaina. You don't have to worry about when do I throw that stun out, or combined with I need to check where they're at on the map, so let me throw this out while I'm healing this idiot beside me who decided to run 1v5. And Muradin's the easiest. He's a great beginner hero. He teaches you about positioning, peeling. He teaches you everything in a nutshell that you need to know about heroes to up your own gameplay personally. And he's always relevant. There's never been a point where Muradin hasn't been relevant to the meta. And it's he's just an overall good hero to learn with. So that's my take on it.
No, I think it's a good argument. Elena, any thoughts on this?
I kind of like that they threw Tyrande in it, just because there is that occasional person who is looking for the hard challenge when they first start to see where the depth is. Especially because when you look at it from a regular Blizzard player perspective, there's always caster and tank, and then there's Tyrande. Well, what is that? Maybe I should play that instead. It's kind of a hybrid. Some people like that sort of thing, but as far as easiest goes, I'd probably lean towards Jaina, just because it's I don't have to be responsible for what happens for starting, because when you're tanking, that's just one of those things. It's different than other games, but you're still responsible for how initiation and peeling goes, and some people just can't do that, like me.
Yeah, I think those are all solid arguments for what would fit best for each player.
I think some players want to do things differently, and Tyrande definitely offers a different experience than most heroes in this game, so I can get that.
Yeah, most definitely. Speaking of newer players coming into Heroes of the Storm, Blizzard did announce this at BlizzCon, and it is currently live. It's called the Nexus Challenge, and it's a cross-promotion between Overwatch, Blizzard's biggest game right now, and Heroes of the Storm. So if you play games with your friends in Heroes of the Storm, either ranked, unranked draft, quick match co-op versus AI, those games will all count towards this. They start today until January 4th, and the rewards are pretty good, and I think they're going to be very enticing for people to come over to Heroes of the Storm. Play 15...
about 15 seconds ago, got somebody messaged me in Heroes asking if he wanted to party because of the challenge.
There you go. See? Immediate feedback right there.
I've never seen him in this game before.
That's interesting.
He invited me to a party.
Wow. So right there you have it. So we're going to have a lot of newer players coming over. I'm thinking I might do this on my Smurf so I get some of these free heroes here. But here's the reward structure. 15 games is going to get you in Overwatch the Oni Genji skin, the Oni Genji spray, and player icon. In Heroes of the Storm, you're going to get Zarya and the Oni Genji portrait. So those are your main rewards for Overwatch. 15 games it's a significant enough, I think, requirement that will really get people to get a feel for the game and get them immersed in the game. But yeah.
I've got somebody at work, same thing as Carl. It's just he's like, hey, so you play Heroes of the Storm, right? Yeah, 15 games ago. It's all right, thanks. I'll message you later on this week.
Yeah, most definitely.
Definitely, it's already. We're already seeing people, kind of gravitating towards this. So hopefully it'll keep players. That's going to be the thing that's going to be most interesting in all this.
Speaking of keeping players, if you play an additional 15 games, so 30 total while partied with a friend, these are the rewards you get, which are pretty significant, I think, for new players going into the game. You get Ariel, Greymane, Kerrigan, Liming, an Orochi Hover Cycle mount, and a 30-day stim pack. So overall, that's 5 heroes you get free in Heroes of the Storm if you play 30 games. And these are like pretty high up meta heroes, so they're not just some crappy heroes that they want to just give out to people. I mean, I think some of these are still 10,000 gold. Zarya and Ariel at least, if not Greymane and Ming as well. But yeah, those are some really significant rewards. Elena, what do you think of the amount of stuff they're kind of giving away to incentivize players coming to Heroes of the Storm?
I've always liked the crossover things. Like even for BlizzCon, they do. You get a portrait in this game, you get a pet in that game. So I like that that's crossing over, because maybe it'll bring people who wouldn't think to play these games, but say they got into Overwatch because a coworker mentioned it and they got it together and they started playing it, and oh hey, I want this skin, I'm going to play this game, and it's a whole different world. Like, that's how your BattleNet list went from like 15 people to 200 and you have no room. Like that's how it happens. You just build through the games. I've always enjoyed that kind of thing. Some of it I don't go after, like I don't play StarCraft, so all of my StarCraft rewards have kind of just disappeared into a void. So that was a pun.
Oh, I got it. I got it. Yeah, I just caught it.
Don't try to take my job.
Mine was unintentional, though. Okay, you like schedule yours on a time frame.
It's true.
There we go. Yeah. Zex, what about you? What do you think about the variety of heroes here? I mean, there's some good warriors and assassins, and a really strong support in this current meta.
Yeah, they're all great heroes. This is something fantastic for new players. I mean, these heroes alone probably are on the order of let's see, Zarya's 10,000. I'm doing quick math. I'm sure Greymane's still 10,000.
I think they're all 10,000 still. Actually, your Kerrigan might not be, but
that's like
Kerrigan's like 4 or 7.
That's like $50 worth of heroes right there, or a lot of gameplay for
Kerrigan's 4,000. That's the only one that's cheaper, but
still
really strong.
Yeah, that's an insane amount of savings. My question is, what about the people who already own all these heroes? Is there going to be some kind of reimbursement, like gold reimbursement?
I highly doubt it.
No, you know what? I think it's the same thing as the dynamic bundles. If you already have it, you're shit out of luck.
That makes me sad.
But you already own every hero. Like it's meant to incentivize people to start. Like if you already own everything, that's your own fault. Like
yeah, I mean I'm gonna do it because I want the stim pack and the mount, but
Yeah, I'm just grateful that when they do bundles, like non-dynamic bundles, that I can still get them for the things that I do want instead of having to buy everything separately.
I'm still pretty sure I'm not the only one.
There we go. This is why we do it on Twitch. Is we have our chatters telling us exactly what the cost is. Greymane, 7K, Kerrigan 4, Liming, Zarya, and Ariel all 10K.
Thank you, Ashling.
Thank you.
But I wish there was some kind of reimbursement, even like half the cost of those. I need my gold stash to get bigger, guys.
Yeah.
I'm only sitting on 48,000.
But at the same time, you have players like you who are like, hey, Blizzard, I have 47K gold. What am I going to do with it? They're like, well, we don't want to just give you an extra 20 gold on this promotional event because that doesn't help your situation.
Maybe I want to stop spending money at some point.
Oh my god!
Do you think we'll ever have buyable skins with gold?
The only ones are master skins. That's it.
I doubt they'll do a.
What about more expensive heroes? Like, what if Ragnaros comes out and he's 20k gold instead of 15?
The community would hate that. Community would.
Yeah, that would be a huge amount of blowback.
There are people who aren't caught up, right? So that just kind of screws everybody over and helps the limited few like Willie and myself who are actually cut up. So they need to have something you can dump money in that's like, I mean, a skin would kind of work if it didn't like ruin the business model of microtransactions. But ways for you to dump your gold that doesn't actually like isn't a required thing.
I think we'll see it after they take off the level cap. I think it's likely maybe level 30, 40, 50, depending on what the grind progression is. We could see Grandmaster skins, which are just super tuned up skins,
True.
or
You know,
completely different things.
Even more spikes.
I think it'd also be neat if they did reverse ones where you get skins and HOTS for playing Overwatch or WoW, like down the
Yeah.
line. I think that should be done next, and they should.
I mean, that'll
also
be
keep
cool, but
things, yeah.
HOTS is the game that needs promotion. And like they're promoting on Twitch and they released that promo thing, and I'm a bit getting ahead of us here, but like Blizzard's clearly trying right now to get people to play Heroes. People are playing Legion, people are playing Overwatch.
You know,
No,
if they would hire me for the merch team, I'd take care of that. There was no Heroes of the Storm Nexus pins. There was very little merchandise. They got their work cut out for them on that front.
I
Yeah.
think they're missing an opportunity in the merchandise department, honestly. I was thinking about that today when I was at the comic book store, and I saw Demonic Tyrael all by himself lonesome in a display case. I'm like, Heroes has multiple like skins that only exist in Heroes. Lots of characters that only exist in Heroes. And
Like Pirate Falstad.
yeah, Pirate Fall.
Beautiful.
Candy King Murden.
Yeah, you see, and you
favorites.
see a lot of it in cosplay. A lot of people love dressing up as these random characters, and there's not a strong market for the merchandise there.
And you know what? Since you brought that up, for as much as people love Murlocs, the Easter Bunny Murloc skin that doesn't exist in merchandise either.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, that's strange.
Lots of.
I will
stuff
say
there.
I'm glad they're doing it now. They did a whole bunch of promotion. Was that a year ago or a year and a half?
when they
Whenever
launched
the game
a year
launched,
ago.
right? And they did all that stuff, but there was a lot of feedback from the community, and I agreed with some of it. Like the game still didn't feel finished. You know, we didn't have tiered ranked system. We didn't have unranked draft. We had a limited hero pool. Like there's a lot of things in the game that felt like this wasn't quite right. You know, we could still use hero swaps, but it's about the only like game feature we're missing. But we have the fun brawls that are seeing huge success in every Blizzard game. We have draft, we have a functioning rank system, all this stuff where like the reasons people turned away from Heroes are gone.
Pretty
So
much.
if they can cross promote, they put us on Twitch, they do all this stuff. It's like, hey, I tried this out and here's what this game looks like when it's, you know, done. And I enjoy it.
Yeah, and so you had mentioned this, and it was supposed to be a little bit later in the notes, but I want to just really quickly talk about this new promoting push they have. HeroesDefy.com is this new website they've kind of put up for new players. Really kind of going after, I think, current mobile players, really talking about how different Heroes is versus other MOBAs, and front and center is just how the game differentiates itself from other of these styles of games, and also highlights a couple different heroes here. They ended up highlighting Jaina, Leeming, Johanna, Stitches, Zarya, and Abathur to really show off what's different, as well as the battlegrounds and the heroics. And this is all part of the promotion for the Nexus Challenge here. Really trying to get more people involved, and like Carl had talked about on Twitch, they are doing the promotion for Heroes where it's in that #1 spot on the games directory there, so more people are going to be checking it out. I believe Grubby is streaming right now, so he's in the #1 spot, which is really good to have someone like that be so prominently shown on the Twitch platform. So yeah, that's good. Let's move on though to the brawls. Like Carl was talking about, that's one of the cool things in the game that was recently added, and we are getting a brand new one this week, Blackheart's Revenge, which is a little bit different than we've had before, where both teams alternate between an attack and defense phase, and it's really fun. The version that we played at BlizzCon, I'm pretty sure is close to what we're getting in live. Was a ton of fun, and I'm really excited to see how players feel about it. Elena, you also played that brawl with me as well at BlizzCon. So what do you think about it, and do you think it's going to be well received by the community?
I think so. The thing I like about brawls in this game and the other game is that it's something they can adjust as they want to. It's not a static thing. If something goes bad with one, like a lot of people didn't like Hammer Time. I loved Hammer Time. I thought it was hilarious. It's ridiculous. It's meant to be ridiculous. It's meant to be something that you're only going to have for a little while and then it disappears and you might not see it again for a year or more or something like that. It's the enjoyment of the game where it's not the same thing over and over again. And this one in particular I like because most of my favorite characters are kind of ridiculous on it. So it's a fun one for me. Are we playing that tonight?
I don't think it's out yet. I don't.
No.
No, it'll be here Friday.
Are you sure on that? Because it doesn't even specify. It just says.
No, I'm on right now. It's Temple.
I'm 99% sure it's Friday.
Can you? Somebody check while we're to make sure that it's not in custom as well, because I don't know if we can custom it already or not. It feels weird that they're announcing it and they don't specify in the notes that it's released on Friday.
Yeah, it's not in custom games. Temple Arena is the
That's
only
a shame.
one.
That would have been fun.
It'll be here Friday, though. I'm sure it will be here Friday.
I
I'll
want it
just have
now.
to it on something else then.
But yeah,
So
I'm really excited for that.
I want to try it out. It looks fun. It looks different. Attack defense is always fun.
Which did you prefer, Jamie? Did you prefer attack or defense?
Attack was definitely a bit more proactive versus defending there. It was a lot of fun though, but I mean the thing is we crushed both sides of that, so I don't know. We'll have to see if they have more close games as we get into it being on live and not just some random people at BlizzCon who you have no clue what their skill level is.
Yeah, sometimes I feel bad for the demos because you get those people who like us own a lot of the characters and play a lot of the characters, and you get other people who are like, "What does this button do?"
Pretty much.
Which was pretty much me trying to play StarCraft demo.
Oh no!
What does this button do? Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, there's a lot there, and not everybody plays every game. So I encountered that the year I was there.
No, I think when you talked about promotional things, I think the brawls will help stream fun, like in general, because there's not enough competitive hot streamers like there are for WoW and Overwatch. Like specific names for them, but I think there needs to be more. It needs to build.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
not
that's
wrong.
good. Yeah, definitely not wrong.
We could use more people streaming heroes in general, no matter what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember some big name variety streamer started streaming Heroes, and she had like 10,000 people watching Heroes or something insane like that, which was kind of cool to see. But let's move on into this huge patch that Blizzard dropped on us today. Varian is released. Spoilers for Legion, but Varian died, so he's returned. He's returned
Wait, I've been
to
playing
the
a
Nexus.
dead guy?
Yes,
Yeah,
you've been playing a dead guy. Because anything happens in the Nexus.
Okay, Bender, calm down.
So does that mean I've been playing Horde this whole time?
I am
Sure.
You were playing Sylvanas? Question mark. Oh, since we were talking about Brawl, I think one of my most amusing things about this patch is that even though the Brawl's been out, 3 weeks now, they have already added AFK detection to the Brawl. Like, this is why we can't have nice things type of nerf to it.
Who
Like,
gets so tilted that they...
Who gets tilted over Brawl?
like, who AFKs in a Brawl? They last like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get tilted,
would
but I don't
assume
tilt to point where I AFK.
I assume it was just people getting the 3 out of the way and just queuing in and walking away.
Maybe, but like that just blows my mind. Like it's a Brawl. Like you've never played it before.
People will go the extra mile to do less.
Yeah, for sure. But let's talk a little bit about Varian. Go over his toolkit really quickly here. Being the first multi-class hero, as you can see, warrior and assassin. Lion's Fang is his Q, creates a shockwave, straight line, and damages and slows enemies. Parry, which parries all basic attacks for a little bit of time, reducing their damage by 100%. Makes sense. Charge, the very much like perennial warrior skill, makes its way into the Nexus here. Charge to an enemy target, slowing them. And then where it gets really fun is the heroics. Taunt is your warrior warrior selection here. Colossus Smash is kind of like your bruiser warrior style, and then Twin Blades of Fury is the assassin style here. So Carl, I want to get your initial thoughts on the hero. I know we briefly talked about it this week, but what have you seen in game of Varian, and what are your first thoughts on him?
I've seen more success on the tank build than the assassin build, but that could be because tank Varian destroys melee assassins, and there's usually a Varian on either side if you're in quick match. So, if one of you goes tank, then it goes assassin, your Varian counters theirs. But he seems pretty strong, and the stun at level 4 that reduces his charge cooldown and makes it a stun is absurd. It is so good. It's like it. Utility, mobility, CC. It just, you need to pick it, and it makes him. It's good. They need to. I mean, I don't want him to be nerfed before I get to play him, but that needs to get nerfed.
Which one was this again?
Level 4 talent reduces the charge cooldown by 10 seconds and makes it a stun instead of a slow.
Oh my goodness.
It's so much. So, I mean, the other options like 0.75 seconds of invulnerability, which can make some really cool plays, and you're like, oh man, that's a great talent, but when do you not want a stun and a gap close on a 6-second cooldown?
Yeah, that would be really cool. Charlie, I want to get your initial thoughts on this hero, just from kind of hearing other people's thoughts.
Looks cool, haven't played him yet. I didn't get a chance to play today because I was being lazy and needed a nap before the show, so I'll see him and give you my thoughts next week.
Yeah, definitely. Same here. I haven't had a chance to play him on live. I played him a little bit at BlizzCon against AI opponents, so you can only get so much really out of that. But his toolkit is definitely interesting, and the taking build is interesting because the taunt does so much work. Like it's ridiculous the stuff that it just interrupts. Like I know I talked about this last week, I believe, where I was able to taunt a Rhaegar out of Ghost Wolf, and that's pretty freaking cool to just basically make his escape terrible. Artifice, any initial thoughts on Varian before we get to Zex, who's played 20 games already on Varian?
I watched people play him a little bit at con. I was too busy swinging Ragnar's hammer around, but I'll probably get him with gold tonight, or at least try him out. I'm torn between getting Semira or him this week, but he looks interesting to me. Like Willie was talking about some of his abilities, and it's kind of one of those things I have to see before I believe all the hype with him. I am excited for him though. I like his split capabilities. It'll be interesting to see who his counters are, because I haven't really figured out any yet, so that'll be fun for me.
Now, granted, it is day one of him being on live servers, so we'll have to see. Willie, I'm giving you the floor, man.
Okay. He's really good. I agree with Carl. Tank Varian puts in so much more work overall. I'm not saying that Assassin Varian isn't good, but you can't quick match with Varian and expect to get an extra tank. It's not going to work. Varian counts as a tank. So if you somehow manage to queue in with another tank, consider yourself, and you want to go Assassin build, consider yourself very, very lucky. That said, Warbringer, it's going to need a nerf. It can't be 10 seconds. That's too ridiculous. All that work on a 6-second stun, you combine that with taunt and the rest of his abilities, whoever you pick out is going to die. It's as simple as that. They're not going to be able to get away from you. End of discussion.
Oh, quick question.
Yeah.
You were talking about his taunt, right?
Mhm.
And the tracer thing. Have you tested out Samaro's ult? The whirlwind?
Doesn't work with
It's not
whirlwind.
it's
Okay.
auto
And to
attack only.
answer-
It's
and
not
to
damage procs.
But if a Samuro is stupid and he puts all 3 illusions on you, that's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
You may be able to repeatedly taunt him.
Sorry, to clue people in who may not be familiar with this build quite yet, at level 20 you can pick up Vigilance here. I'm showing it on screen for those of you watching the video. Incoming attacks reduce the taunt cooldown. So you can imagine how that goes against, say, Tracer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got lucky during a game today, and I got a taunt off as a Tracer was reloading, and it chopped off 8 seconds off a taunt. She unloaded her whole clip into me, 8 seconds just right off a taunt, and it's already a 16-second cooldown. So it took the second off, so it was like overall 9 seconds. And to answer your question, Elena, Mage's counter variant. It makes his parry completely worthless. So people like, if you have a mage heavy comp and someone who can slow and or stun him, you're gonna be able to blow him up.
You think he's more like Li Ming counter or like Kael'thas?
He's more of a Kael. Ooh, that's a good question.
Because Li Ming is a lot more stationary with her stuff.
If I were Li Ming and I was going up against a Varian, I would take Wave of Force over Disintegrate, because Varian's just gonna run you down.
What about Jaina?
Jaina.
She's a lot of burst, but she's super squish. So
she is super squish, but if she takes the Frostlands talents, she's gonna be able to put a good amount of hurt on them.
In just the tank spec or both?
Oh, she'll outright destroy him in Assassin spec. Like, Varian does not have the health pool in Assassin spec to stand against a Jaina. Like, you need a better comp.
Yeah, so really quickly,
handle
just so people realize this, when you pick your heroic, it actually changes his stats as well. I'll show these on screen as well. If you pick the taunt, his passive changes maximum health increased by 50%, attack speed reduced by 25%, and the Colossal Smash base attack damage is increased by 75%, and maximum health reduced by 10%. And then the Twin Blades of Fury, that Assassin spec, increases attack speed by 100%, and basic attack damage is reduced by 25%. So these are probably some of the most significant heroics we've seen on a hero in this game so far, I feel.
I think, coming from League, the Colossal Strike is the Assassin spec. The Twin Blades is like sustain. Because a leap with a vulnerability and flat AD, that's going to help you blow somebody up quickly.
Yeah.
The attack speed is going to give you sustained. So.
Okay. Yeah. You're right there. So Willie, continuing on the Varian discussion, I kind of want to close on this, I guess, because level 13 gives you some really interesting choices for talents. I feel like, what have you been taking there, and do you think there's some variety in this tier, or is it kind of just set in one spot?
It's actually pretty dependent on what your team comp is. If you're mage heavy, go the ability power. Go with the ability power banner. If you're more like auto attacker comp, I guess I would almost want to take the banner of Stormwind. Like if you've got like Vala's, Rainers, people like that, because that movement speed buff will stack with everyone else. And if people are trying to get away from your right clicks and everything like that, it's going to give you that additional chase down to keep that Rainer enraged, to keep that Vala enraged, and keep laying down right clicks on people. It might help that Johanna, that if you're doing a double tank, maybe if it helps with that Johanna to run out there and get that additional stun. That condemn to pull everybody back and get that slow off. But for the most part, I do quick match a lot. I've been going Banner of Ironforge. I want the resistant. He's already really tanky with taunt, and Banner of Ironforge just gives him and your team just that extra bit of tankiness, and nobody attacks the flag.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just completely. It's like 2 or 3 shots and the banner is down. So really, like I really prefer Banner of Ironforge because not only does it make you more tanky, it makes the rest of your team more tanky. There's been a few times where I've had an ally be in trouble, get in trouble, like someone's running them down, and I throw the stun out, I drop the Banner Ironforge, and a disturbing amount of times they'll get away with just a sliver of health left.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, so closing this out because we gotta move on to some other stuff. But do you think Varian at this point might require nerfs, or you think it's more of a people need to figure him out and figure out where exactly he fits in the meta and what is his counters?
for the most part, by and large, he's good as he just the way he is. He brings uncertainty against the enemy team, but Warbringer being a 10-second cooldown is way too much. That's too much CC. Reduce the cooldown by 8 seconds instead. I'd be happy with that. 8 seconds is a lot longer time in a team fight or chase down or anything like that. That would be more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take. But
okay.
he's really good.
Yeah,
as is.
Well,
He's not broken, but he's really good.
Yeah, I think next week we'll take a bit of a look at the hot dogs and figure out where exactly he fits there, and really talk more about where he is in the strength of the meta. But let's move on to a couple more changes that they're adding into Heroes here. Auto select is getting some cool changes now. I think we're all pretty happy with this. Basically, you can select either the different roles that you want to play for auto select. So if you wanted to play warrior and say, oh, I don't care what warrior I get, just throw up warrior for me, you can choose that. As well as you can also choose by your favorites. So include all heroes in your favorites list. Now this has to have at least 5 different heroes for you to be able to do it, but that's the way to do it. MVP and commendations got a couple additional ones as well. I think one of them I saw are always trusting and reliable Alebeard posts about this on Twitter. There's one for avoiding deaths in like a team fight where you're down like players or something like that. So that's good. I'm happy about that. Let's see what else. Did you Charlie, could you talk about the stealth changes that are being added into the game today as well?
Well, yeah, it's more of a change to the functionality of stealth. Before, when it was revealed, when a hero was revealed by a talent like Tastar's passive, it would break the stealth, which caused the stealth heroes to lose some of their power because they have a lot of abilities that trigger while they're in stealth. So heroes that were revealed but not hit out of stealth weren't getting the procs on that because they were, it would break stealth. So moving forward now, all those abilities will just reveal the stealth character rather than breaking the stealth. They'll still be stealth until they're either A, hit, or B, they attack, like how most stealth works. This is just to probably, compensate a little bit for the scouting drone being able to reveal stealth heroes as well now, and with a new stealth hero recently being introduced. So I don't know that this was needed necessarily, but it might leave some more room for stealth heroes at the higher end of play. Stealth heroes always feel like a pain in quick match because teams, they're meant to punish people who don't know how to play the game properly. That's what stealth heroes do. So it should be interesting to see moving forward how this affects the various levels of play. Yeah,
it'll be interesting. I think the other note is a lot of these talents for some of these heroes work under Tehran's Shadow Stock now, so kind of giving that a bit more power here. Specifically Nova's Tactical Espionage, Advanced Cloaking and Covert Ops, and Samuro's Way of the Wind and Harsh Winds. So some more just cool stuff to try out there. Let's see what else we have as well. There's a whole lot of stuff here. So hold on one sec. Terror and Night have 50% blind reduction now. So that'll be interesting. That'll help them out with their auto attacks.
Yeah, there's been some more blind effects introduced into the game lately, and it's probably just to deal with that because it's the Dragon Knight missing because of a blind doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm. And then as well, some talents gain change, like Charlie had mentioned. Scouting Drone now reveals stealth and cloaked heroes, which makes that a bit more of a pick to consider, I think, for supports going forward. Also really interesting to me is Seasoned Marksman getting a monster buff, I feel like. Basic attack damage can now be gained past the previous cap of 40, and activated attack speed bonus is being increased from 30 to 40%. Carl, what do you think of this as a primarily assassin player?
So the first part is nice, but not huge. You don't usually hit that cap unless you're like AFK farming to like level 16 anyways. It comes in kind of late. The attack speed bonus is nice, and I like this talent in its like concept and its design. So, I mean, I pick it when I can on a lot of heroes. So I think it's good.
Charlie, what do you think?
I mean, it was a change that needed to happen. The capping felt kind of silly because of the reasons Carl stated, and the 40% is what the real big buff is. I was getting there sometimes on Raynor, and that activation for the extra attack speed was great.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let's talk a little bit about all of these changes to the heroes that are already existing in the game. Really quickly, Alderac, Lightning Surge range increase, so a nice buff for him. Illidan,
He didn't need it.
He didn't need it, but that'll be good for him and the players who play Alderac. Illidan getting some buffs as well. Just changes to talents here, and let's see. I'm trying to understand exactly what they're doing. Developer comments. We're aiming to make a few of the earlier talent choices for Illidan more competitive and open up a greater variety of playstyles. By increasing the bonus of unending hatred, we think farming minion waves and hunting into fights will be enticing on certain battlegrounds. By allowing Unbound to grant 2 charges of Sweeping Strike, we think that talents like Battered Assault and Blades of Azeroth will showcase an Illidan that can dance across the enemy team and do a lot of damage while doing so. So this should be interesting. I'm curious to see what this does to him in the meta. Carl, I'll go back to you as one of the assassin players. What do you think of these changes?
It's not, I mean, they're pretty good, like standard balance changes of like, let's buff some weaker ones, let's nerf some stronger ones. The 4 talent's cool though. Kind of combining those things. So I mean, I think Illidan's really strong right now. Honestly, if you have a team around him. So I think we'll see more Illidans. I think Illidan to go this build will be very mobile and hard to deal with. But it's a slight buff. We'll probably see him float around 52-53%.
Yeah, and so moving on to Thrall now. We'll get to you in a second. We'll get to you in a second. But Blizzard, this has kind of traditionally been their way of trying to get other heroics to be played more. They're going to nerf the heck out of Sundering and try to make Earthquake just a bit more attractive as a talent choice. Added functionality now, though, is now deals 50 damage to heroes with each pulse, which can trigger Frost Resilience. So if you get a good chunk of players caught in Earthquake, that'll give them a lot of sustain there. And Sundering, the stun duration reduced from 1 1/4 second to 1 second. Elena, Tell me how you really feel about this.
Stop trying to make Earthquake happen, Gretchen. It's not happening. Like I said, ever since they brought Thrall down from Mount Olympus when he first came out, it's just been like a constant stream of like, well, let's nerf Sunder again. Well, it's nerf Sunder again. Buff Earthquake, nerf Sunder again. It's just one of those things. Like this, like I said, Sunder isn't just the damage. Sunder is the vindictive end move, like, no, you're not getting away from me, and that's all there is to say about that. Like, I can see it being a fun thing for a lot of, like, King of the Hill type of things, like shrines and temples where they have to come into you to get the objective, like a Stim Drone Hammer and March of the Murlocs, God forbid you actually have a Murky or something like that, where they can't get away from you. But other than that, I'll still probably take Sunder. I'm just gonna have to work harder for it now.
Yeah, I'm tempted to try Earthquake to see if I can make it work, but like you're saying,
I'll try it.
Probably not gonna happen.
I play Thrall as like a target heavy thing. Like the Earthquake is more like a team balance thing, but like if I'm playing Thrall, I'm playing Thrall to hit things. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so moving on to another assassin. Carl's smiling because he knows exactly who I'm going to. Let's talk a little bit about these changes to Zeratul and help us make sense of them, because there's a lot of changes. I'm not going to read anything to you guys, but go check these out in the patch notes and developer comments as well. He's getting an entire rework, it looks like.
It's a really good rework. It's not going to fundamentally change how you play Zeratul. It got rid of a lot of these talents that you're like, why does Zeratul even have this? Like Seasoned Marksman. Like, who took Seasoned Marksman on Zeratul? And like, he had this weird like Seasoned Marksman searing attacks kind of thing. You know, and then like Stoneskin. It's like, why did, you know, Zeratul should be reliant on his blinks and his cloak and like kind of outplaying them. It's like, oh, we'll just give him a shield, and that kind of ruins it. So it basically lets you play Zeratul kind of like you've been playing, with there's a lot more of blink to your target again. There's Shroud of Adun, which kind of plays off your stealth. There's like his own version of follow through. And then the one thing, they changed his Void Prison upgrade at 20. So it used to be allies weren't affected by Void Prison, which meant you couldn't save teammates with it, you couldn't save your core with it, anything like that, so nobody ever took it. Now, Gift of the Xel'Naga makes enemies slowed by 30%, or slowed by a decent amount for 3 seconds after VP ends, which is really good for follow-up, for combos, for catching people out. There's a case for it now, even though Rewind's really good. To go through my assumed build that people are going to pick on Zeratul, if I can find him in the game real quick, it's the blink at 1 that he's actually just disappeared. Oh, he's level 10, that's why I can't find him. Okay, so you're still going to go Vorpal Blade, because that's really good. Like I said, it allows for those plays where you attack somebody, you blink away, they think they're out, you Vorpal Blade back to them, or you blink in and they use their dash and you can Vorpal Blade to follow it up. It allows Zeratul to make the plays he needs to make. Combo Slash at 4 to get extra burst in. Grim Task is like, if you're really greedy, you can probably grab it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Wormhole, because Wormhole's really good. It allows Zeratul to play poke. Like, the other things are cool, and like they're nice, and I want to pick them, but they compete with Wormhole and I can't. You always pick Void Prison. Shroud of Adun or Spell Shield are both good, I think. Entering combat with 15% shield is nice. And then Spell Shield is Spell Shield. Spell Shield is probably more common, but I do think Shroud of Adun should be considered. I think Sentence to Death is this new 16 talent, where deal 50% increased damage to enemies while they have Singularity Spike attached to them. So it's burst. So that'll be a great 16 talent. And then again, I think you'll tend to rewind and occasionally go get Xel'Naga. But yeah, I think a lot of these talents are competitive. They did what they said, I don't see any of these talents, and and none of them are like, why would you ever want to take that?
And Zeratul was one of the few left in the game suffering from those old builds where they were just kind of throwing these random paths you could take.
Yeah, like focused or not focused attack. Focused attack was good, but searing attacks and seasoned marksman and stuff like that. It's like, and why did he have regen master?
Right.
Like, I picked it, but why did he have it?
Right. And there aren't many. He might be the last hero left like that in the game. So this is probably long overdue.
Yeah, I really think so. So, Willie, it's our time to talk. We're going to be talking about Kharazim now, who got a pretty significant rework as well. One of the goals that Blizzard was talking about with this Kharazim rework, is to make him more viable as a bruiser. Insight getting a buff as well now, because it increases his movement speed when you... What was it? Let me see if I read this right.
Are you sure that's Insight and not Iron Fists?
Iron Fists. There you go.
Insight's already good.
Yeah. Iron Fist. Okay, so yeah, that's buffing his damage build here. So, and the interesting thing now is at level 4, there are these allies that are now available to be chosen. Spirit, Earth, and Air ally. And the really cool thing about these is that you can dash to them. So that you can use them as emergency escape tools, as well as what they do with their abilities here, which replaces what was here before, which was healing totem and the shield and all that stuff. Willie, what do you think about this change to Kharazim here?
I like it, actually. The spirit allies, it makes them a lot more versatile than pick your trait. You could go transcendence and want to stuff your enemy's attack damage and go Earth ally. It makes them really variable in really interesting ways, and the fact that you can dash to them, they showcased it in a video where he placed an ally down. I think it was an air ally, and it gave him vision of a thrall doing a camp. He charges in, bursts the thrall down, and then steals the camp, and then dashes out. And those are really neat plays I like to see. It's going to be really interesting, and they all do something different. I mean, the spirit ally sounds really good. That's 20% of your team's health in a large area around it. Mm-hmm. So this is going to make him even more versatile than just picking his level 1 trait, like I said. I'm also pretty interested in his new talent, Heavenly Zeal. Mm-hmm. It buffs the movement speed from 10 to 25%. And again, that's a great thing to have.
That's a heck of an escape tool, or a tool to close down on people.
It's chase down or get out, guys. So, and we're looking at things getting shuffled around. At 16, level 16, the talent that just came out, Cleansing Touch. I really, really like that. That is a really great talent. Now,
this seems pretty darn good.
Let's theory crap for a second. If you take Insight and you take Cleansing Touch, you're going to have an insane amount of cleanses off cooldown.
Yeah.
Like,
brutes,
stuns, whatever. Like, you are going to be just dashing to everybody and just saving their butts. This is. I don't see any other reason not to take it.
Yeah, especially if
just
you're
looking at that. Oh yeah, just looking at that talent, it looks like he's now the answer to stun heavy comps.
Yeah, I mean the Dash of Light's pretty good too. But man, and they moved Echo of Heaven to 7, and if I'm thinking of my talents right, that is the one where he gets 10% extra healing on every hero around him when he does Breath of Heaven. And
heals 75% of its normal amount, but heals the second time 3 seconds later now.
Okay, so
it's at level 16 now. It got moved from 7.
Okay, Circle of Life is the one I was thinking of. and that got just removed, which makes me sad because that was a really good talent.
Yeah, I like that too.
So, but
yeah.
I think these changes are really good for Charism. It buffs him, but doesn't remove his weaknesses.
Yeah, definitely for
You know?
sure. I'm really excited to play around with a couple of these builds and see just where he fits in, especially if you can get a comp with double support, because then you can go a bit more attack heavy, obviously, and there's a lot of really cool talents here that we didn't get to totally touch on, but check them out in the patch notes. There's a lot of really cool stuff in this patch, especially the changes to the heroes here. Lots of bug fixes. Varian even got fixes from the PTR already. Taunt was a 25-second cooldown, got brought down to 16 seconds before he went
Why?
live. Yeah.
Why?
Colossus Smash's damage got reduced, and Vigilance at 20 cooldown got reduced as well.
I agree with that.
Jeez, there is a lot of really cool stuff. So make sure to check it out. Hop into the Nexus and make sure to see those. And just for those of you watching the live show, make sure you stick around because we're going to be giving away this right here. The Crypt King Tassadar skin and the hero himself as well. If you do not have that already, obviously you see it's not scratched off yet, so we'll be giving that away in a little bit. Want to talk a little bit about esports. We do have the HGC for 2017 actually starting up this week. Qualifiers for the spring season of 2017 are starting this week, with the EU and NA starting next week. I'm really excited for this stuff to get underway here, especially with all these new changes to heroes, new heroes available. We're going to have Samuro available for this tournament, which I think should be exciting to see potentially. Charlie, you're the one who wrote some of these notes in here. You wanted to mention some of the movements in the North American esports scene. You actually wrote an article about this on here'sthestorm.blizzpro.com.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that Glaurung. How do you say his name?
Glaurung.
Okay, I'm not sure which one it is, but he's moving on to a different team, I suppose. He hasn't been signed yet as of the last time I looked into it, but he was released from
Denial.
Denial, yes. And Zuna is now going to be coaching. We were talking about Zoya. Yeah, where was he going?
Zoya is going to Denial Esports and going to be coaching. Well, not coaching, but team manager there, player manager. Whatever you want to call it. I think they're still looking out for a coach. And obviously, they're looking out for another player to fill that spot left by Glaurung. So, Willie, what do you think of all this?
I want to see Zoya on Aventic, honestly.
That would be really funny.
Don't tell me you don't want to see that. I mean, I'm glad for Zoya. He is a very capable manager and good at what he does, and I'm glad that Denial's picked him up. I'm glad to see him back in the Heroes community. I think he should do more casting, personally. Preferably with hot peppers in his mouth.
Oh,
but
oh man.
But I mean, the guy is there for a reason. He does good work. So that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. I have no opinion on Glaurung getting knocked out of Denial. Denial needs to do a little bit of soul searching right now if they're going to be competitive with the rest of NA, which isn't saying much at the moment.
Yeah, they have a little bit of time to kind of rest and figure out what exactly they're going to do, because they did qualify for spring season, so they don't have to fight through that open bracket, which I'm sure will be exceptionally brutal.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be violent. It's gonna be great.
But yeah, we wanted to give away the Crypt King Tassadar skin really quickly here. I'm going to open up the raffle right now. Actually, I have to reset it real quick. And there we go. Open. Go ahead and hit exclamation point raffle in chat, and we'll be giving this away to one of you lovely viewers. Make sure you're following the BlizzPro channel. I will not be giving away a skin to someone not following the channel. And it's happened many times where I've seen someone come up in the draw that wasn't following the channel and it skipped over them. So make sure to check that out. Exclamation point raffle, and we'll get that underway. Also, make sure to check out the Blizz Pro channel in the Heroes of the Storm game client. We do our games right after the show, which will be coming up in just a few minutes for those of you watching live. But we tend to hang out in there all the time when we play games. So, yeah, check that out. And did you want to talk about our Patreon, Mr. Zextras?
Sure. Like we've been talking about the past few weeks, we've updated the Patreon to include new goals and everything like that to better entice you. We've got our bronze tier where, we thank you, we love you. You get first priority in our ARAMs after the show. And that's just $1 a month. Even $1 goes a long way in helping us out with taking care of, small things, hosting costs, things like that. Then we got the silver tier at $5. That one's a fun one because during the ARAMs, if you're a silver tier member, you can pick once per show to make us play a hero. You want to see how funny it is? You want to watch me try to micro Vikings? Yeah, go ahead, make me do it. I might not like you later, but it's your right as a silver patron. On top of that, you get all the benefits of the first one. Then we got our gold tier at $15. This is the one I like. This is the one I'm actually really excited for. We're doing what's called the patron rewind. We're setting aside a day. We're setting aside Mondays for you to submit replays to us so we can cast them over the channel for you. We've got Mr. Stay Tight right here with us. He's obviously an incredibly competent caster and good at what he does. It's the gold standard for Heroes Hype for the longest time. When you went to go see Heroes Hype, you wanted to see Jimmy. It felt weird without Jimmy there. So, but yeah, send us, donate to this tier. Send us those replays. We would love to cast them. I would love to cast them. And then our platinum tier is $25. Is $25 a month. You don't have to keep subscribing either. Even one time is still incredibly helpful. But you get a T-shirt that was designed by Ashmish Art on Facebook. The guy does wonderful work. It's a wonderful design. I love the design. I wish we had the design up right now. I'll make sure it's up on the patron page later tonight. But you guys should really, check it out. Give us a chance. We love that you watch anyways. But really, toss us some green once in a while. We're here working hard for you guys.
Yeah, most definitely. We appreciate any support you can give us, even if you can't support the Patreon. Coming out and checking out the show is always awesome as well. Oh my gosh, chat, you're killing me. But as always, make sure to check out heroesofthestorm.blizzpro.com. Tons of great articles up there right now. Charlie just put up one about the North American esports scene that I think is really good criticism of where North America kind of sits in the grand scheme of competitive heroes. But as always, patch notes get posted up there pretty much instantaneously as soon as they get released by Blizzard. And make sure to, if you can't check us out live, check us out at youtube.com/BlizzPro. That is where we put up all the videos of this show, as well as all the other wonderful Blizz Pro productions. Wednesdays at 6 Pacific is West March Workshop for Diablo 3, which is getting a whole bunch of new content in this year, in the latter part of this year and into 2017. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific is the Payload Podcast, which I'm a part of as well. Talking about Overwatch, Stormbread here. We're going to be talking all about that and all the brand new content that released for Overwatch this week. And Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific is Well Met for Hearthstone. So check those shows out. Let them know that we sent you there. And as always, check out our Discord, another place to connect with us, discord.blizzpro.com. And let's go ahead and give away this good old skin here. We're going to close that and then draw. And we have Avanti's winner here. So congratulations there for winning the skin. We'll get that to you in just a minute. It'll be from my personal Twitch account. I'll be messaging you. I'll scratch this off during our break here before the games, and then we'll get that to you very soon. But anyways, how was everyone feeling about the show tonight? There was a long one. There was a lot to talk about. Charlie, any closing thoughts?
Check out my article. I put some work into it. I'm going to keep trying to do articles like that moving forward throughout this 2017 league. Donate to the Patreon. Come check us out every week. Look at our stuff. Tweet at us. Make jokes. We just want to have fun with you guys. We just want to chill.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, Willie.
We just want to be around you.
Heroes and chill.
Yeah, heroes and chill.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Let's take a moment. And why don't you skip me? I'm going to come back to me in a minute. I'm loading some.
Alrighty, Artifice.
I'm looking forward to the next batch. It'll be an interesting upcoming week.
Most definitely. Carl, how about you?
I'm excited for HGC qualifiers this weekend. I'm excited for that to get on the road. Just constant esports content is something I want for this game. And I think that's about it. It's about the time to turn my hat backwards and play some ARAMs.
There we go. Yeah. Zex, how about you?
Okay, back to me now. I just want to give a shout out to our patrons. The boss man himself. He's a patron to the show now. I'm not shouting myself out. That's stupid. Shadow. I guess I have to shout you out. Shadow.
Oh, you gotta be nice to Shadow?
I gotta be nice to Shadow for a minute. Thank you for your donation to the show, buddy. Maria, no last name. I'm not thanking Carl either. He's a jerk who stole an MVP out from under me. Joshua Lamb and Christy Nita. Thank you guys for being patrons this month. We appreciate your support. We love you more than the plebs. We love the plebs, but you're our favorite children.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, we thank you all so much for tuning in every week and really, really appreciate your support. And that is going to be episode 82, and we will see you in the next. Just make sure to stay tight.